Hi, everyone. I got a bit sad that everyone was sent out to the exhibition. I had hoped for everyone to stay in the room, but let's see if we can fill out the room. It is definitely a different feeling than last year, where it was basically pressing join meeting. I don't know about you, but I really do not miss pressing join and leave meeting digitally. So, hello everybody and welcome. I am Jacob Gellerup. I'm chair of the jury of the Public Library of the Year Award and member of the IFLA Public Library section. I am both honored and very excited to welcome you all to the live celebrations here at the WLIC in Dublin of the IFLA and Systematic Public Library of the Year Award 2022. The Public Library of the Year Award is presented by IFLA and Systematic with the aim of honoring new, innovative public library. The jury consists of 9 members from the IFLA Public Library section, the Metropolitan section, and the Buildings and Equipment section. And the award is a collaboration between these 3 sections and IFLA headquarters. Systematic is the sponsor of the award. The Public Library of the Year Award is presented to a great new library somewhere in the world that has best managed to combine beautiful and functional architecture with creative IT solutions, and has included both digital and sustainable developments, as well as local culture. In other words, the Public Library of the Year Award is given to the overall best newly built public library. In a short while, you'll meet each of the shortlisted libraries and hear about their visions and greatest takeaways. Before IFLA President Barbara Lisson will announce which one of this year's 4 amazing shortlisted libraries is the winner of the IFLA and Systematic Public Library of the Year Award. And some of you, I know from last time we did this physically, we saw a lot of cameras taking pictures of this. These are some of the libraries that I would definitely recommend to visit. The Public Library of the Year Award is all about celebrating role models. Throughout the years, the prize has awarded and highlighted some of the world's most exciting, innovative, and beautiful libraries from all over the world. Past winners include both architectural masterpieces as well as smaller libraries that challenges and explores the idea of a traditional library building. And I gotta say that it is really hard each year to choose a winning library, so I'd also recommend visiting these shortlisted libraries. They are all fantastic libraries. To be shortlisted for the Public Library of the Year Award has proven to be an honor in itself. Past nominees have pointed out that being shortlisted has both garnered attention from a worldwide audience as well as from communities with an interest in investing in new libraries looking for inspiration. The theme of the 87th WLIC conference here in Dublin is to inspire, engage, enable, and connect. The theme walks hand in hand with the criteria for the Public Library of the Year Award and what new library buildings built for the future is all about. To inspire, engage, enable, and connect people. A library is not just for books, it's for people. Over the past years, libraries have transformed their focus from collection to connection to a strong focus on co-creation and the digital. This year has attracted 20 newly built libraries from 17 different countries to apply for the Public Library of the Year Award. It is a fantastic and diverse field of exciting libraries from all over the world. And it's also a field that shows the tendencies in today's library buildings firsthand. there is an overall strong focus on sustainable solutions. And I think with the previous thing we heard, that's really, really good. On reuse of materials and on building eco-friendly and innovative. At the same time, we, the jury, witness a strong focus on committing the local community directly to the building process. The tendency is to go even further and develop and build together with the local community and engaging them throughout the entire building process. Another tendency is that libraries join forces with other partners to coexist in buildings instead of being placed in separate buildings. That way, the visitors can go see a movie or an art exhibition while lending books at the same location, as well as experience interesting co-creative activities facilitated by the partners and the local community. The new libraries tend to be welcoming community hubs for local groups, volunteers, and gathers the entire community around play, innovation, creativity, and of course, literacy. Personally, I believe that in a time of fake news and uncertainties all over the world, where countries and communities are divided more and more, the role of the library as a democratic core institution is more important than ever, providing people an open and free space to meet, learn, and experience together. It is inspiring to see how the idea of a library still stands strong, even though being constantly tested, redefined, or explored in new library buildings. The tendency worldwide is to dedicate room for reading, immersion, learning, and exploring books and literacy side by side with makerspaces, workshops, and study facilities. Libraries are a great place to be, to meet up with others, and to learn new skills. Through co-creation, coexisting, and co-development, new libraries offer a door to a world of opportunities, play, and education. This year's 4 shortlisted libraries are all great libraries and at the same time very different. They show the range within new library buildings firsthand. This year's shortlisted libraries for the Public Library of the Year Award 2022 are Ogre Library from Latvia, Ithra Library from Saudi Arabia, Missoula Public Library from the United States, and Gellerup Libraries from Aarhus, Denmark. To us, the jury members, the 4 shortlisted libraries are all true winners. They are exciting and shining examples of libraries built for the future, of how to take library buildings to the next level, and how to make bold, innovative, and engaging solutions throughout the building process. I'm happy to present to you the first shortlisted library, Ogre Library from Latvia. The innovative and beautiful library is designed by PBR architects, and the library is presented by Aya Bremschmitte, head librarian of Ogre Library. Please give her a hand.
Dear IFLA representatives, respected jury, librarians from all over the world, I'm happy to present Ogre Central Library.
Hidden in the shade of trees is located Ogre Central Library, a modern, comfortable and beautiful place where generations meet. Ogre Central Library is a vision of young architects of a modern public library, a building that is an example of green thinking and the use of renewable resources. The architecture of the building is adapted to the urban environment and plays the architecture of the 1920s and 1930s, when Ogre was a popular resort town with wooden architecture characteristic of that time.
The technical room is working really hard right now, so let's see if it should be working shortly and we'll restart the video. right. Sorry about that.
So I need to tell some jokes.
Do you want to do the presentation first?
Yes, if I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try presentation.
All right.
Okay.
I think we'll do the presentation first, so please give her an extra hand. And
Thank you, thank you. Greetings from Latvia, from Ogre City. Today I will present and tell more about Ogre Central Library, place where generation meets. Ogre Central Library was founded in 1928 when Ogre acquired the status of the city. Over time, the library in Ogre has been located in various places and buildings in the city. In 2001, all the departments of the library were finally merged in the former kindergarten building. However, over time, the development and modernization of library services and increase in the number of users required more space. So in summer 2021, the new Ogre Central Library building was opened. The modern, visually attractive building, built specifically for the work of the library, enables the high-quality use of the library service for its visitors of all ages and interests, as well as a modern, comfortable working environment for the library staff. The library is a municipal institution, and together with the Ogre Cultural Center and the Ogre History and Art Museum is one of the institutions directly responsible for cultural events in the city. To achieve UN Sustainable Development Goals, a library provides public access to information, knowledge, technology, infrastructure, documented and preserved cultural heritage. The library is open to everyone without discrimination. To reduce digital divide among the people, the library organizes activities to develop digital skills, consults, and provides access to technologies. The above-mentioned activities in the library work to promote progress and are part of the 4 SDGs: reducing inequalities, gender equality, quality education, sustainable cities and communities. The library has pursued one of its strategic goals, to build a new, modern, and energy-sufficient building whose project was designed based on public interest and sustainable development principles. The new building project focuses on 5 other SDGs: responsible consumption and renewable energy, innovation and infrastructure, planetary protection, and life on Earth. The construction was carried out in the framework of the project named Reduction of Greenhouse Gas Emission through the construction of the building of Ogre Central Library, implemented by the municipality. It's the largest public space built on wooden constructions in Latvia. The calculations show total energy consumption for heating will not exceed 14.8 kilowatts per square meter per year, being the first public building in Latvia with such a low heat consumption. The Ogre Central Library is a passive building which embodies pillars of sustainability. Wooden structure of the building is designed and constructed in a way that reduces its ecological footprint to minimum. The new building is equipped with smart control lighting that uses up to 80% of natural light. It has a heat recovery ventilation system that extracts air while preserving room temperature. Additionally, it is not connected to the central heating system, instead specifically patented and unique heat exchange pump system is built that provides heat to the entire building using the sewage. The atrium on both floors houses green wall, the largest wall of this kind in a public building in the country that excites and comforts library visitors. Moreover, a rainwater tank accumulates precipitation, which later is used for watering. The green thinking is also presented by the roof of the building, where greens have been planted that later will form into lush meadow. Above the parking lot, solar panels have been installed to generate electricity for local use and to provide energy for 2 electric car charging stations. In the parking lot, you can also see a bus, the mobile library of Ogre Central Library. We are very proud of it. It has been going to readers in Ogre region for 25 years and was the only one in Latvia for 15 years. With the opening of the new building, the ICT equipment of the library was also fully renewed. The biggest innovation is processing of library stock with RFID tags, which allowed to install a new equipment. 3 self-service stations, a novelty in Latvian libraries, an automated library locker connected to the library's information system. By introducing contactless and autonomous solutions, library has improved availability and quality of services, as well as effective use of resources to ensure library functions. And this is a children's literature section, who is divided into separate areas for both the youngest readers and older children. There's also a quiet reading area, and the department also has a daily activity room with a climbing wall and board games. The new library building, which has been open to visitors since August 9, 2021, has accessibility for every target audience. There is a suitable driveway, elevator, as well as enough space to move around the entire building in the wheelchair and with a pram. There is also a book transfer facility, which provides the possibility to transfer books outside the library's opening hours. The library premises are designed to be comfortable for readers. Seated ottomans in children and young people's literature section not only create a feeling of coziness, but also the opportunity to be flexible in the choice of reading space. Readers can also arrange a reading area on so-called seat windows, pull the curtain, turn on the lights in the dark evenings, and spend time with a book in almost solitude. The Ogre Central Library embodies the testimonial of one of our visitors. If you can't get your child out of the library, you are in Ogre. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you soon in Latvia in Ogre Central Library. Thank you.
They'll run the video now, so just stay here.
And let's try to see a video.
You don't have, they'll do it outside.
Okay,
We found out that
okay.
this computer isn't working, so now the technicians will run the video for us.
AWS.
In the very center of the city, hidden in the shade of trees, is located Ogre Central Library, a modern, comfortable and beautiful place where generations meet. Ogre Central Library is a vision of young architects of a modern public library, a building that is an example of green thinking and the use of renewable resources. The architecture of the building is adapted to the urban environment and plays the architecture of the 1920s and 1930s, when Ogre was a popular resort town with wooden architecture characteristic of that time. Wood and metal, modern and classical, new and old. Ogre Central Library is a place where the past and present meet as a river, but the river itself extends into the future. Comfortable learning environment, suitable premises for business meetings, safe and attractive place for recreation for the whole family. Both the busy and the lazy will find their place here. Ogre Central Library is a wooden construction and energy-efficient building which makes it a unique in the context of Latvia. It is a place that proves the future belongs to those who not only see and think, but also live green. The accessible environment creates a cozy and safe feeling, in which it is convenient to get acquainted with books, relax, work, and have a business meeting. Modern technologies make it easier to receive and transfer books. Ogre Central Library is a pride of the city, a center of culture and art, a place where generations meet.
Thank you so much, Aya. Please give Aya a hand. And I gotta say that what really impressed the jury was just the warmth that shined through this library and just the focus on children. We really love this library. So, now for the next library. Do you all remember when I talked about architectural masterpieces and crazy buildings? This is one of those. It's a fantastic building. And I'd like to welcome the next shortlisted library here on stage. It's the Ithra Library from Saudi Arabia. The impressive and stunning library is designed by Snøhetta Architects and is presented by Chief Librarian Tariq Havaji. When you want them to run the video, you just...
Okay. Good morning, all. I am honored to be here to present Ithra Library, and I wish you a pleasant presentation. Can you run the video, please?
Welcome to a virtual tour of the Ithra Library. The Ithra Library is part of the King Abdulaziz Center for World Culture, known as Ithra, an Arabic word meaning enrichment. Ithra is one of Saudi Arabia's most influential cultural institutions, a destination for people of all ages, the curious, the creative innovators, and the seekers of knowledge. The building was designed as a collection of stones symbolizing unity. It is an iconic architectural landmark in Dhahran's skyline, covering 80,000 meters squared. The building's exterior is one of a kind in modern architecture, entirely wrapped with a 350-kilometer-long steel pipe. Materials made from sustainable sources were used in its construction. The building achieved leadership in energy and environmental design, gold certification for sustainability. The impressive structure includes the library, knowledge tower, idea lab, museums, cinema, theater, great hall, and archive. Ithra's progressive initiatives are based on 5 specific pillars: creativity, culture, knowledge, art, and community. The Ithra Library champions knowledge sharing, rewards curiosity, and provides the community, space, and resources to nourish minds in the pursuit of learning. The Ithra Library was designed on 4 public levels over an area of 6,000 meters squared, with 2 underground levels for the back-of-house operations. Rising from the plaza level, the escalator takes visitors to the library, into a world of more than 300,000 titles in Arabic and English. Entry to the library welcomes you to level 3, the social floor. It serves as the hub to provide memberships, tours, information, and fiction titles. It includes a welcoming reception, displays for library collections, and a cafe. The Children's and Young Adult Library, Multimedia section, and main presentation area are located on the library's 2nd floor. Their interactive workshops that focus on learning and gaining knowledge through entertainment are also held. This floor contains 7 rooms with AV equipment and flexible seating that can be customized for various purposes, such as group study and workshops. Level 4 houses the library's vast non-fiction collection. The 5th floor offers a quiet study and research area. It also houses the library's reference collections. Throughout the library, there are spaces and furniture that encourage group study. The library can provide tools to make students' time more productive. These include tablets, stationery, and chargers. Ithra Library uses technology to support users across the on- and offline journey to enhance learning and visitor experience. For example, RFID-enabled smart screens are integrated into the library shelves, giving access to more information about the books and summaries. Moreover, some shelves have embedded touch screens, which allow the users to locate graphically the exact location of the book's search. The welcome exhibits in Level 3 display digitized images of the latest books and staff recommendations. The library has 14 RFID self-check devices. In addition, the library has printers and scanners on each floor. The plaza level has an intelligent book return and sorting system, where borrowers can quickly return the book if they are in a hurry. The library has the flexibility to use many other spaces, including compact storage, which can provide a 1 million book capacity. Additional space is available in the surrounding park, providing an outdoor setting for library programs. Ithra has a cinema, theater, and plaza space which can cater for significant library events, such as book exchange fairs, children's book fairs, and the annual National Reading Competition final ceremony. Visit today and do not miss this memorable experience.
In 2008, when King Abdullah was visiting Dhahran, Aramco was celebrating 75 years of its start. And at that time, they announced that they are going to give the society a gift. In the beginning, it was a library and became a huge center, Ithra Center. So today I will talk about the library, which is one component of the big center. So the vision of Ithra in general, it's to contribute to a future where the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is beacon of knowledge and creativity. And you can see this vision established in 5 pillars: culture, community, creativity, and knowledge and art. And in the mission, we will make a tangible and positive impact on human development by inspiring a passion for knowledge, creativity, and cross-cultural engagement. And because 40% of the population of Saudi Arabia is under 25 years old, that's why we can understand why we are having this mission on our shoulder. This is Ithra. You can see it from outside. One of the ideas when they designed Ithra in the beginning, that it will start to inspire people by seeing it from outside before getting inside. And this is one of the missions in Ithra, to inspire people. So you can see the library, and the library is attached to the Idea Lab, Knowledge Tower, Theater, and the Great Hall. And down there you will see the museum and archive and the cinema. One of the ideas of the designing of Ithra Library, if you can see the library, it's one of the biggest rocks of the design, and attached to it is the Idea Lab and the Knowledge Tower. So we have this idea in mind. You can find the ideas in the library, you can experience the library, or test the ideas in the Idea Lab, and then you can teach it in the Knowledge Tower. This is a view of the library from the 5th floor. And Ithra Library is one of the biggest library in the region. It's 6,000 square meters. And we are one of our goals is to be recognized as Arab leading library, public libraries. Our objectives: increase the love of reading, play a major role in the student success, and help and develop the society. Our strategy is structured based on 4 key elements. The first is the facilities, 4 floors. Every floor has its own content and its own design and idea. Dedicated section for children, research, fiction and non-fiction, study, meeting rooms, and social cafe. When we talk about the content, you can, we published through the years more than 3,000 physical items, e-books, multimedia collection, newspaper, magazine, podcast, and publication, and it's part of the content that the library had in this collection. The program, I will talk in the next slides about the programs, but at the surfaces, our idea is to fulfill the community needs and suit all ages and diverse interests. And the technology, maybe you see it in the video, but I will talk about it again, the RFID system and the self-check systems, multiple book research screens, the digital library, the exhibit, the intelligent book returns and sorting system, and printers and scanners. Our services, as I said before, it's self-check services and reference information services, reader advisory, and audio-visual services, and photocopying and printing, and as I said before, scanning and printers. One of the services that we include in our library, I think it's a new thing in Arabic world, it's the reading advisory. We are trying to push this idea more and more. You can see here in the photos some of the services that we are offering in the library. And now I can talk about the programs. And I think this is a main element of Ithra Library, that the programs and the offer we have to the audience, it's make Ithra Library a busy library. And I think we are aiming to have this title for Ithra Library as a social library. So we have a book exchange fair, and it was a successful one. People will come and exchange books with each other without paying anything. And the book signing, I think Ithra Library is one of the busiest library in the Gulf and the region when it's come to book signing. And we honor to have some of the Arab Man Booker Prize for Arabic novel to be signed in Ithra Library. And we have a program for poetry and reader clubs and children book fair and national reading program. The children book fair last year, it was, we hosted Belgium as one of the guests to our book fair, and it was successful, small event for children. And the National Reading Program, it's a program that started before Ithra Library. It started in 2013. It was exclusive in one region of Saudi Arabia and become a national competition, and now it's an Arabic program. We announced that just 1 month ago to be an Arabic reading competition and program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tariq. And sometimes I'm from a very small country, 5 million people. And that also means that libraries are a bit smaller than this one. And, and sometimes when I travel to see libraries a lot, I forget the size of libraries and the number of visitors. And yesterday when we were talking to the shortlisted libraries, someone mentioned in passing that this knowledge park and this library has, when on a good day, has 30,000 visitors. So it's just, and then I just stopped for a little while because we tend to forget. All right. Our third shortlisted library to be welcomed here on stage is also a fantastic library, and I'm really looking forward to this presentation. It's the Missoula Public Library from the United States. The welcoming and beautiful library is made by MSR Design and A&E Design. The library is presented by Tracy Lesneski, CEO, Principal, MSR Design, together with Honoré Bray, former Library Director, Missoula Public Library. Please join us on stage. Come on. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you. They'll start the video, you said?
As soon as you just say to them, start the video.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to say thank you for this honor and welcome to everyone, and congratulations to the fellow shortlisted libraries. We're so delighted to be in your great company. I think we're ready to just go ahead and launch the video when you're ready.
Welcome to the new Missoula Public Library building, located at the confluence of western Montana's Clark Fork River and Rattlesnake Creek in the Aboriginal homeland of the Salish and Kalispel people. We offer our respect for their history and culture, for their continued vibrancy today, and we aspire to honor the path that the Salish and Kalispel people have shown us in caring for this place for the generations to come. Our building was designed by Minneapolis-based architectural firm MSR Design in partnership with local firm A&E and is home to the library, University of Montana Living Lab, Spectrum Discovery Area, Family's First Learning Lab, and MCAT Community Media Resource.
A key driver to the design was how people would experience the building's partners, as an integrated whole or as separate entities. This had implications for the building's size, its budget, and the identity of each partner. We saw a huge opportunity in full integration, creating a seamless experience for both visitors and staff. Getting that right was vital in creating a truly transformative outcome for the library and for the community at large.
In the U.S., private funding is critical for libraries to achieve a building like this. Our vision was for a free, equitable educational hub that supported the full spectrum of literacies and that was impactful to all learners and all ages. The idea of partnerships arose from wanting to offer meaningful, multi-layered, hands-on experiences accessible to all learners.
When the partners came together under one roof, that's when the magic began. We were able to flex our muscles in new ways, leverage for impact, and the result has been an absolute stunning culture house that impacts every day the lives of our Missoulians.
The natural surroundings are deeply meaningful to people here. Glacial activity and the mountain skyline informed the building's form. Reflective cladding changes appearance in different light conditions, recalling the dynamic valley weather. The materials palette and colors were inspired by a mountain climb, from the rocky valley floor at the parking level to the mountain airy top on the 4th floor. The 2nd floor is dedicated to children and their caregivers, and the color scheme is based on the bitterroot, the Montana state flower. The sculpted wood wall visually connects each floor and acts as a wayfinding cue. The design was based on the Missoula Valley topography.
Each space was intentionally designed to support multiple ways of engaging in dynamic learning. A great example is our demonstration kitchen, which can be used as a meeting or study area and as an instructional space to provide our community with culinary literacy and health opportunities in support of our mission.
Long-term flexibility is just one way we design for resiliency. The building relies on hydrothermal and solar for its energy and is designed for water conservation and daylight autonomy.
Creativity with partnerships is key to extending our services. Exposure to new ideas and experiences generates empathy. Representation in program design, spaces, and materials is inclusion in action. Intentionally reaching out, listening, and working alongside priority communities is equity in action. The model of our new building expands our reach and possibilities for future endeavors. The Missoula Public Library building speaks volumes to what Missoulians achieve when they come together around shared values.
Our goal is architecture that fosters community, is low impact to the earth, and transformative to the region.
Okay, well, thank you. You've got a nice tour there now of the library, and it is my pleasure to hand it over to an Orbre. I guess in Gaelic you'd say honoré. Is that right? Yes. Honor's family is actually from Ireland, which is lovely for her to be here, yes. And so we'll get started with a little introduction to Missoula.
Welcome to our lovely Missoula, Montana.
Missoula Public Library flanks the east end of the cultural district in Missoula. The library serves a population of 120,000 people in a county that is 4,213 kilometers. So we have a large space that we serve that is just our population served. 75,000 of those people are actually live within the city limits of Missoula, and the rest live in the county, so they're very spread out. Missoula is the second largest city in Montana, but we are the largest, busiest library in the state. And we are a shopping hub for about 6 rural communities that live nearby that don't live in our county, and bring about 80,000 other people into the library. Library services in Montana are shared across the entire state, and we have a courier system that brings things back and forth. So we're very heavily used by our neighboring communities. Tracy's going to talk a little bit about where we're at.
Okay, all right. Well, as Lenore said, it's a vast area, and it's sparsely populated. This is a population density map of the United States and parts of Canada. And the light yellow color is less than 3 people per square kilometer, just to give you a sense of that. So the green dot is where Missoula is located. And you can see that the closest large city is actually across the border in Calgary, in Canada. And that's 660 kilometers away. And so in terms of cultural offerings or places where people can get especially equitable, accessible services, there was not a lot before the new library came to Missoula for people to engage in that kind of activity.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the vision. In 2008, the community was growing rapidly, and the library was very inadequate. The library was occupied in 1974, and it was 39,000 square feet. A lot of that square footage was mechanical rooms and places that were not accessible by the public. And the systems were failing. The heating system and cooling system we could not buy parts anymore. We would have to have them made. So it became very apparent to the library board that something needed to be done. There were only 38 seats in the building that could be occupied by people to sit in and use the library because the stacks and other activities took up too much space. So we were serving at the time about 1,700 people a day, which was a lot of people to come through the door, and obviously was just inadequate and needed expansion. The vision for the building came from my years of experience. I taught high school for 20 years, and I would take students to science museums, and it would be so frustrating by the time they would get back home. They would forget about what they were excited about because they didn't have anything to take with them. And I used to think, oh, if libraries were just connected to science museums and kids could take items home with them and then return them afterwards, it would be a full learning experience. So when we had the opportunity to build the new library, we were thinking about partners and who we could bring in with us that would enhance the programs that we offered and that we would not go out and duplicate the services that were already offered in the community. So we decided to go out and do some visiting with nonprofits in the community and see who would be interested in joining us in the public library.
we had all the books that were needed, but we needed the hands-on experiences. So we landed on the Missoula Public Library hosting MCAT, which is Media Resources, Spectrum, which is a hands-on science museum, Families First, which was a children's museum, and a place for parents to learn how to parent through play, and the living lab that came from the university. So we interviewed and we decided on these entities. And MCAT offers the digital literacy, which was really important in our community. When we first came together, we decided that, everyone wanted their own identity, so we did a full day of collaboration and trying to come up with a word besides library. And we decided on the link. And then as that got out into the community decided no, they still wanted to call it the public library. So our project was called All Under One Roof.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, you're good. And we ended up with everybody under one roof. We have a coffee shop also. And then one of our members, who you saw in the white outfit in the video, was working with the United States Institute for Medicine and got a grant from them to build a climbing structure in the building. And the climbing structure is there to help kids realize why it's important to have lots of activity and not be sedentary. So we have a lot of very fun programs that go on, and we collaborate on programming, and everybody has forgotten about the fact that they needed their own identity. They're just happy to be all under one roof. So the next one. In the United States, libraries are supported by private dollars, so and public dollars. We don't get very much funding from the government, so we have to go out and ask our voters to provide the money for projects. So we were able to come up with a $30 million bond issue, which the public paid for, but the partner spaces could not be paid for with money from tax dollars. So our foundation had to raise money in order to add the the partner spaces. So the foundation raised about $7.5 million, and then the partners and the library itself did the other 4% to bridge the gap that needed to be filled. We were very lucky that the community was very excited about having a partnership of people to come together in the library. And so those entities do not pay rent in their space, but they do pay a pro rata share of the monthly cost for the building. But their space is free as long as they don't charge the public for their services. So now Tracy will talk about the building itself.
All right, thank you. As Honor said, the partners coming together under one roof was a pretty key moment in the gestation of the project itself. When we were actually hired with our local partner A&E to design the building, it was still uncertain whether the partners would have their own identities and this would end up looking sort of like a conglomeration of many different entities, or whether it would be one container housing all of the partners. And we were really delighted that it did move toward the one container housing all of the partners from an architectural expression perspective, as well as from the experience that the community and the staff both would have as an integrated community of service providers that are all united in a mission about literacy and play. And so we were able to be, freed to just think about what that container ought to be and how to make it resonate best with the community. And we were really inspired by the local landscape. You saw quite a lot of it in the video. The building site is nestled in the hub of 5 valleys. It's a spectacular location. And so the exterior draws from the geological forms and the kind of shifting plates of the glacial activity that the glacial activity caused. And that's why the building looks the way it does on the outside. On the inside, we settled on a very calming and spare palette that really resonated with the sustainability goals of the project, using as few materials as possible and making sure that when we did use something that it was sustainably made or harvested and that it would have a small carbon footprint. And so that was a real driver in the overall palette. And we were able to then think about this container being kind of a cohesive whole with then the punctuations of each partner identities in certain locations. And so you see each of the partners located here on the screen. They all fit into that cohesive design aesthetic, but with a little bit of their own flavor or flair, I guess I would say. Holly would call it probably flair. And here is that hub of 5 valleys that I spoke of. Those mountain ranges really do feel right at the doorstep of the library. It's quite a special location. We talked about this a little bit in the video, but I wanted to expand on that idea of the mountain climb as a way of organizing a building. You can imagine that there's a lot of competing ideas about what looks right and what is Missoula. And so really grounding it in the place and relating it to something that most people in the community could relate to as having experienced at some point was this idea of a mountain climb. And so as you ascend through the building, or descend, I guess in reverse, each of the floors has its own kind of feeling in terms of the texture and the material that's used on that floor. So going from the bottom at the base of the hike, if you will, it's a little more rocky, jagged, dark forms, darker materials, and as you ascend all the way up to the airy mountaintop, then it becomes more simplified, more elegant, much lighter in feeling and aesthetic. What unifies all the floors then is the main stair, which acts as this wayfinding cue. You always can see where that wood wall is, wherever you are, on whichever floor you are, and that orients you to where the toilet rooms are, where the comfort rooms are, and then, of course, where the main stair and elevator to circulate you through the building is. And what you see on the left of this slide is the Missoula Valley topography map with that dark bar that's kind of in the center. I don't know if I can point, but the dark bar that's in the center is indicating where the building itself is located in the valley. We extrapolated that then using our computer programming in the office and laid it out over a grid, abstracted it, and then modeled it into the sculpted wood wall that you see on the right image. Where the logo is on that wood wall is where the library is in the valley. So there's a little nice story there as well. And so I'll just take you through a couple of more of the images, just showing you another little bits of the tour, the coffee shop and cafe on the first floor, the very active, vibrant floor of the children's on the second floor here, with lots of ways to engage in that hands-on play that Honor was referencing before. Plenty of places for quiet contemplation as you rise up through the building. And then that event floor on the fourth floor with the spectacular views out all directions. We didn't forget about the staff. The staff are key to making sure that this building runs well. All the partners are located together in their workrooms to help create those synergies between the different partners. And we offered the same kind of variety of active opportunities for staff to very quiet and contemplative areas so they can get recharged and refreshed for their work. All right, so that brings us to the future and back to Honor. But first, sorry, Slavin Lee is the new director. Honor actually just stepped down a few months ago. And Slavin wanted to be here and apologize for not being able to be here. We're over time. Okay. We're over time. I apologize. We're over time. So Slavin would have said, it's a bright future. And great, beautiful things happening. And that's it for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I always hate barging into an exciting presentation. Sorry about that. When we talked about this library at one point, a library director in the jury said, I want a library like that for myself. And I think that's the feeling you get. All right, and now over to the final shortlisted library. It's Gellerup Library from Aarhus, Denmark. The multifunctional and elegant new library is designed by Schmidt, Hammer and Lassen. The library is presented by Library Director of Aarhus Libraries, Marie Østergaard, and Jette Birkeskov Mogensen from Schmidt, Hammer and Lassen. Please give them a hand.
Well, thank you very much. This is quite daunting, and I want to thank IFLA and the jury for choosing us as a nominee, especially in a year with so great other nominees. It's also very daunting to be on this stage, which is huge, by the way, just standing up here looking at you guys. But I think we'll just start with the video. Yes, Ree?
Hello, and welcome to Gellerup Public Library. So we're right now here in one of Aarhus Public Library's branches in Gellerup, which is a part of Aarhus Municipality. This library opened in December, and we're super excited to be nominated for this award, but we are also super excited to show you the amazing space that we have together with a public housing agency, an art factory, and a lot more partners and people that we're cooperating with to help drive the change in this neighborhood that we're part of. So come on in and we'll have a look. So one of the things that's really important for us here is to look at the library as a democratic space. The library in Gellerup and in all over Aarhus are community hubs where we try to make people come together under one roof to co-create and to be part of the drive that they want to create in the local community. To make sure that these spaces are for everyone and that you actually interact with someone you might not see in your daily life, but who are part of the same community that you're in. So one of the things I just really wanted to show you are these tables, because they're actually made out of floors in some of the apartment that has been torn down in the area as part of the redevelopment. So they're really one of our cherished items here in the library.
As a public library, we are so proud to take color of the unique local community that we're placed in. And that's why co-creation is so important in all the work we do and has been in the process of developing this new library. For example, behind me you can see a concrete way of co-creating with the young people of the local community, trying to understand their needs, try to give them a voice in the library. And I feel we succeeded. It's their art, it's their installation, and we are very proud to have those young people helping us here.
The library is created as a series of connecting spaces, and it was important for us as architects that this is a framework for the activities and the different programmable spaces and different activity levels. We are here at the more quiet end of the library. It's also my favorite spot because you can be more contemplative, but at the same time there's a great visual connection to the life between buildings and the various people and the activities organized by the neighborhood.
Der er meget godt rum her, og det gør, at man føler sig ikke sådan klemt mellem bøgerne. Jeg kan godt lide den måde, at der ligesom er en børneafdeling og en voksenafdeling. Og så kan jeg rigtig godt lide, at det ikke er sådan et højtideligt sted, hvor man skal...
I usually read books, and especially in this busy summer period, many young people especially are studying for end-of-year exams, including myself. And it is so nice to see that so many people are using the library. And sometimes I meet here with my friends, and sometimes it's actually by coincidence, and it really just proves how useful this new library is for us young people especially. I believe it's much more well thought of, and you can see the intentions behind the designers, and you can see that there are these different areas for younger people, children and mature adults, and especially the different colors, and they just indicate that there's a place for everyone.
Great. So I think I clicked the right one, didn't I? Yes. I just want to start by acknowledging that what libraries can do for everyone. And I know we're all here because we love libraries, but I wanted to start by showing you Aarhus. Okay, this goes fast. Aarhus, this is the municipality of Aarhus. We have 19 libraries. The main library is Dock 1, which is in the white circle. And then Gellerup is a branch library just in the outskirts, but it's a very, very important area for Aarhus, and it's a very, it's an area that's getting redeveloped at the moment, which is one of the reasons why we really wanted to create something important and strong out there. And it's only fair that Gellerup gets to get a new library, because a lot of the ideas and visions around our libraries in Aarhus are based on ideas and thoughts that came out of Gellerup, of the library as a community center, a community hub, working with partners, working with the community, having user involvement in everything that we do. So we look at the libraries in Aarhus as a democratic infrastructure, spaces owned by the people all over the community, and that's how we try to create this new library.
Yes, and thank you to everyone here, and again also the co-nominees. It's so inspiring. For us as architects on this project, it was about making ends meet, because the wishes were many. And that's with the public community library. There are also financial constraints, but as architects, we looked into how can we make the most of a flexible space. So again, bringing together also with the synergy of the different partnerships inside the building, and having shared spaces, and having also, again, as we said in the video, connecting spaces so that one can inspire the next, and also bring that curiosity from the neighborhood. As Maria said, it's a neighborhood undergoing change, and it was important for us to framework with the architecture that it's something that also from the outside looks a little bit different. What the building contains in the region, and it should feel inviting, appealing. People should come here and feel comfortable and safe. And as well as people who's lived here for many, many years, and there's also a whole new wave of newcomers, and that should be, this should be the platform where they can meet and engage, and also connect as neighbors in this special place. As goes to the building itself, we worked with the community 360 degrees sustainable action plan. So it's not certified as such, but we really worked again with getting, tasking that every sort of way of assessing what is the sustainable choice here. There's a lot of wooden, timber, and healthy materials was considered in every choice, and also the the whole sort of climate design with natural ventilation, a lot of controlled daylight, bringing again this inviting feeling, and having also the connecting to the outdoors, and that was important in again with some of these you can say hard-working spaces that you still have this open feeling and views to the exterior.
Yeah. And also one of the things you were talking about sustainability, and we decided that we wanted to look at sustainability in all its different shapes and forms. So we're also talking about social sustainability, financial sustainability, and of course the environmental one. So maybe some of you, at least some from Denmark, will recognize some of the furniture in here, because we reused old furniture that we found in the basements around in all the libraries, and we shaped them up, and we're trying to bring in a lot of old stuff. And you saw the table that I was sort of very happy about in the video. It was really not just because it was from an apartment that had been torn down, but it was also because it was made by young people who are working in the area, who are unemployed, that are given different kinds of activities, also on the construction side actually. So they created these tables for the library, and they brought them in and were very happy about bringing in these tables that they created themselves. They'd never done anything like that before, from different materials that they know from their home. So we're really trying to look at it from every different angle. And one of the most important things, you saw Ulrike was showing you how there was this place for the teens in the area that they've been constructing the different things in there themselves. One of the things that we always try to do is to leave spaces unprogrammed, so that we leave areas that can be then done by the community, both when we're constructing it, but also after, because this goes on. It's not just fixed and finished at this moment. This will continue to move, to change, and to be filled with different kinds of activities in the library by the community. So that's one of the things that I think together we were very keen on trying to create spaces for that. So really, I want to say that if we believe, and I think we all do here, that libraries are drivers for change. We see this already in Gellerup. The numbers of visitors coming in this new library has more than doubled from what it was before. The people from the surrounding areas who would never have gone to the previous library, they come in now. So it's really been driving the change that everybody was hoping for. And I think it's when architecture, content, and impact goes together, then that's when magic happens. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Small library with a great impact.
Yep. Thank you very much.
The jury just loved the way that this library is at the core of a redevelopment of an area. And you can feel the warmth, and you can feel that the community has been part of developing this library. It is really, really a nice library to see. I always try to visit some of these different libraries. It's been a bit tough during the last 2.5 years. This is one of the ones that I actually had a chance to visit. But I can just recommend now that maybe we are back in the before times, that you go and visit some of these libraries. Now I hope that all of the presenters will join us here on stage, while my fellow jury member, Sander van Kempen from IFLA Public Library section, will join me and ask you a few questions about your libraries.
So, I got the honor to ask one question, since we're pressed for time. So, I'll start in the order that they presented themselves. So, I wanted to ask Ogre. They told a lot about sustainability. Actually, that was my question, but now it's sort of obsolete. So, what she didn't say, which came up in the jury meeting, is that there's also a possibility to marry in a library. And I was very curious how that came about. Could you tell a bit about that? putting you on the spot right now, I know.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, I didn't tell about this aspect of our library, but as you know, Ogre Central Library is all about sustainability, so we hope the marriage will be sustainable too, so yeah.
So now you have another reason to visit. So I wanted to ask Ithra, the library from Saudi Arabia. I was very curious what inspired the library to be visually as a set of rocks. Maybe you can tell a bit about that?
Ithra Library is in the near from the Ithra Center. There is the first oil well that's starting producing oil in trade quantity. So King Abdullah changed the name from Dammam oil well number 7 to oil of prosperity. So Ithra is designed as rocks, the rocks that one day was the oil coming out of the rocks. Now there is a new energy in the country, and the energy of the, I will say, knowledge, young generation, and everything. So it's related to the idea of energy, in a way.
Great. Great answer. I would like to ask the Missoula Public Library, if you could change anything, what would it be, and especially why?
If we could change anything, it would be that we didn't have a pandemic. We were supposed to move into our building a year earlier, and the staff moved in when the building was unfinished because the pandemic stopped transportation of many items, and so the staff did services as outside services, curb service. The people would pull up in their car, and the staff would take the things that they were wanting out to their car. It was very difficult, and we did that for a year before we could actually open to the public with limited hours and then open with full hours about a year ago. So the pandemic really created a lot of heartache for our staff. It was very difficult for them. And it was difficult for the public because they are used to coming in and searching for things that they want, and they couldn't do that any longer. So the pandemic really messed things up.
Thanks for that. You're probably wondering, how do I get such a beautiful library? I'll get to Gellerup in a minute, but just wanted to express this. And one of the things I think is very important is that you have a driving force that keeps going when all obstacles are there. And in this case, Honoré was this driving force. And I think this is very important, that if you start building a process, which is a long process, that you find somebody who really has this driving force to make it happen. So thanks again. Marie, I would like to ask you, we saw a lot about the community engagement. That is something I'm sort of really enthusiastic about. Is that the one thing that you're most proud of?
That was a very good question, Pekka. Yeah, well, it actually is. And I know this is an architecture award, but the thing I am most proud of is the heavy amount of user involvement that the staff and the community managed to do, not just before doing it, but also during COVID, which is not very easy when you're online, but also throughout the entire building process. And I think that's really what creates the atmosphere. But I just want to say that I'm also extremely proud of the staff and the citizens in this area, because what they manage to do every day and have been managing to do is to create an atmosphere of, well, maybe the hope is here, but also an atmosphere of including everybody in this building. So I think that's something that I'm very proud of, that we got to go down that road together.
Thanks for that. I'll give it back to Jacob.
Thank you so much. If you can all just move over here. Yep. And now I'd like to welcome on stage to announce the winner, Barbara Lissand, IFLA President. Welcome, Barbara.
Whew, thank you, Jacob. I'm so happy this time again. I had the honor to be here on stage to hand over this award for several times already, and I'm really happy. It's like at the Oscars. So this is the envelope where we find, because who wouldn't think everybody would have won? Me, I would think so. So, now the envelope's open. This is the letter. This is saying library. This is saying winner. And this is saying Missoula Public Library.
Our first response, thank you very much. The library itself is the biggest prize anyone could ever have. It's an amazing space. And I just want to say that MSR listened to absolutely everything the staff and the community had to say, and they built the building that the community wanted, and they were fabulous to work with. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, thank you so much, jury. This is such an unexpected honor, actually. I've been telling everybody it's just an honor to make the shortlist, and I really feel that way deeply. And so this is an amazing honor. Thank you. I have to, because Honora is too humble to ever say anything about her role in really making sure that this project came to fruition. She had a vision, and she was steadfast and went through a lot of ups and downs to make sure that the project came out the way that she anticipated and that really would mean the most to the community. And that integrated partnership was just brilliant, and it's so impactful already, even though not open quite as long as you'd have liked. And perhaps the greatest pity of it not opening as soon as it could have is that Honora didn't get much of an opportunity to fully enjoy and live in that building as long as I think we all would have liked her to before stepping down. But thank you so much. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Can you see this? Where do we go now?
I'm just wanting to say that all four of these libraries are the winners. They're just beautiful libraries. And could you please give them all one last hand? That is it for the Public Library of the Year Award. Please, if you have more questions to the libraries, you will see them at the conference and you can ask them questions along the way. Have a fantastic conference and hope to see you at one of these four fantastic libraries. Thank you, everyone.